Hello, welcome to this update for North America and Hurricane Erin. Sorry we didn't do any updates for this yesterday or before, and because we were busy with some stuff, but that was really bad on our part because this became a Category 5 in less than 24 hours yesterday. Thank God it didn't hit anybody in the Virgin Islands or in the Eastern Caribbean, but it's pretty close. As you can see here, it's north of Espanola. It's pretty close. But yesterday there were some flash flood warnings in Puerto Rico from the rain bands of this and some gusty winds in a few islands, but no major impacts. So this did achieve Category 5 status, like some 160 mile per hour sustained winds yesterday, and also some 915 millibar pressure was achieved yesterday. But today it went on a eye wall replacement cycle and it weakened to Category 3. So now it's a Category 3 hurricane. So let's see the latest key messages. Heavy rainfall will continue Monday across Puerto Rico, but it's expected to diminish over the Virgin Islands later today. Locally, considerable flash flood and urban flood along with landslides or mudslides are possible. Tropical storm conditions expected in the Turks and Caicos Islands and are possible in the southeastern Bahamas too until Monday night. With the gusts of tropical storm force are possible in Erin's outer bands of Puerto Rico today and the Bahamas Monday and Tuesdays. So please be careful with Erin expected to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along the beaches of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Bermuda, and much of the U.S. East Coast and Atlantic Canada during the next several days. Interest on North Carolina Outer Banks, Bermuda to monitor the progress of Erin. There's a risk of very strong winds associated with the outer banks by the middle part of next week. So please be careful. In the Turks and Caicos and Puerto Rico, close to 4 to 6 inches, some isolated areas there. So be careful. 50 to 100 millimeters. The Turks and Caicos might even reach like close to 100 millimeters of a few areas. But the worst is for further out to sea. Be careful in the southwestern Bahamas too. And here are the key messages in Spanish. Please pause the video and read this if you are in Puerto Rico, because most speak Spanish there. So please be careful and take some time to read this. Here, there's like some tropical storm warnings in the Turks and Caicos and the southwestern Bahamas, so please be careful to those tropical storm conditions possible. The hurricane force winds are in a very small area in the center of the system, but the tropical storm for force winds extend way further out. So please stay safe, and some probabilities already along the outer banks and Bermuda should watch for some tropical storm force winds. Hurricane force winds mainly further out to sea, but bear watch in Bermuda as well. So please be careful. It's now a very big system still, but not as impressive as yesterday. There was a very big eye yesterday. You must have seen the news on social media, that big eye the hurricane hunters were inside. And from satellite, the structure was so impressive. Just look at the thumbnail of this video and you'll see how impressive this thing was from satellite. So please continue being careful with these rain bands in a few areas. And it's now Category 3, but it's expected to strengthen to Category 4 momentarily again before it goes into cooler waters. So it might still become a Category 4 again. Most of the models take this out into the Atlantic. It might pass close to Atlantic candles, so better watch there down the road for some strong winds. And the Canadian passes right between the US and Bermuda, but so far no direct hits expected in Bermuda. You generally pass in between. So the latest GFS passes just east of the Bahamas and goes right in between the US and Bermuda. But the GFS still keeps this a very strong system, like 945 millibars. The surf and rip current to this will be very dangerous. And then this goes away there. And the GFS wants to be playful again. The playful GFS is bursting something to the Gulf next week. But let's not look at that yet. So there's the European model, shows it passing dangerously close to the Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. So be careful, some flooding possible, some damaging winds. winds, especially the winds and the rough surf. So this goes, the European passes this closer to the US than to Bermuda, and some rain bands close to North Carolina. So if this happens, better watch for some very strong winds and rough surf. Even if it passes closer to Bermuda, you should watch North Carolina. But this scenario on the European is much closer. So please be careful and just looking like the whole region, North Atlantic, this goes and then it kind of passes close to Atlantic Canada, but will likely stay further out to sea. There's the zero sea. It passes some light rain bands near Atlantic Canada, but no direct impact. And later, the Europeans also developing this next system, not this coming week now, but the other week. The European does some very strange things to it near Atlantic Canada, but this still like far out. Don't stress right now. Be careful with Erin. There's the icon shows like this goes passes dangerously close to North Carolina, so you should watch this closely, but passes south of Atlantic Canada. And then this next system, the icon tries to develop it near the Bahamas. So we need to watch this next system closely, not for crazy intensification, but for some tropical storm impacts, maybe near the Caribbean or Atlantic Canada, or even the US, because the European went all the way up. But that's just one run of the European, and you should not base yourself on that. This will change thousands of times and it might not even form. So let's focus on Erin now, but just know that another system might be on the way. And here, there's the European AI. It shows Erin, this goes close to North Carolina, but south of Atlantic Canada. And it develops the next system further out to sea and just takes it into the Atlantic. So the AI is not showing any threat to land. But the ensembles next 240 hours, most of them curve Erin into the Atlantic and later might become extra tropical and bring some rain into like Norway and like northwestern Europe. But it does show the ensembles of the next system curving further south. Most members concentrated near the northeast Caribbean, all the way to Florida. So this area might just better keep watching if you're in that area. But still nothing too concerning. The GFS is further south, like from the Caribbean into the Gulf, with this next system. So we are watching, and if you're wondering about it, just go here, like National Hurricane Center, and it does show like this next area of investigation. So you might have seen this already. A 30% chance of this disturbance, a shock wave near the Cabo Verde Islands, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms, and gradual development of this system is possible during the middle latter portion of the week, while the system moves west-northwest or 15 to 20 miles per hour across the central tropical Atlantic. So we are watching this, and they already expanded it to 30%. I feel like this morning was just 20, and then there's this tiny disturbance, just 10%. And I don't really think this has a good chance. This might diminish there in the coming hours. So please be careful for Hurricane Erin. Here's some advisories in Puerto Rico. You can see some like flood advisory, high surf advisory, the hurricane warning, hazardous weather outlook. So please click on these links here and investigate if you are there. So these links on the description. Flood watch. Be careful with flooding, storm surge, and like so. Please stay safe. There's the radar still there. So please be careful. Just checking on like the European models, so rainfall accumulation and wind gusts here shows like still showing until the 22nd, not showing too much, the Turks and Caicos, but it does show to like 66 millimeters a few areas, even to like 59, close to 70 millimeters. So be careful with flooding. In terms of rain, not much in the US, but because this will be many further out to sea, but a storm or two in Bermuda possible, and some showers, so be aware. But wind, this system grows in size a lot. So by the time this reaches this latitude, it shows like it's even some 40, wait, let's put this in miles per hour, some 56 mile per hour gusts in the Outer Banks by Thursday the 21st. there in North Carolina, some stronger winds close by in Bermuda, but especially near the Outer Banks. The GFS is closer to Bermuda with some 95 to 100 km per gust in Bermuda. The icon is closer to North Carolina with almost like some 72 mile per gust in the Outer Banks. So some models are closer to Bermuda and other ones closer to South Carolina. But please be careful if you are in those areas. I know there are some advisors near the Dominican Republic as well, some rain and wind. So stay safe there too. Please be careful, especially the waves. I've seen some maps today posting about wave heights, and those maps were insane, especially in the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, close to 3, even 5 meters in a few areas. This system grows in size and even show like close to the Outer Banks, some for 4 to 5 meters or some 15-foot waves on the European model near Bermuda too. So stay safe. Some rip currents are very dangerous in this occasion. So stay safe. Be careful that the rainfall in Central America, Mexico. This is totally not related, but please be aware as well. Those tropical rains continuing across central northern Mexico, the monsoon, spot Central America, some showers and storms, a storm or two in Cuba and Jamaica in the afternoon, and also in the Eastern Caribbean, those small tropical waves, a few showers. So be careful. The Cabo Verde, the southern side of the Cabo Verde looks more likely to have some heavy rain, but the northern side not much. So be careful and stay safe. Now, the US has been having some crazy storms last few days, especially a storm cluster 2 nights ago in Minnesota. So still some severe weather possible across Minnesota and Iowa into spots of North Dakota, just a marginal risk, but in South Dakota and Nebraska, the slight risk. Also marginal Montana and Idaho in the northeast. So a small 2% tornado threat in Minnesota and to South Dakota, wind in all the areas, and some hail in the plains into Montana as well. So stay safe. One or two cluster of thunderstorms may develop gradually pose a risk for damaging wind gusts in northern high plains to the Midwest this afternoon and tonight. Damaging thunderstorm gusts may also occur in the northern mid-Atlantic to New England later this afternoon and evening. So stay safe, especially the winds and a tornado too, especially the damaging winds and the hail. The show tomorrow marginal risks is still mainly for wind and some hail in the plains, no tornado threat. So be careful. Some storms and then still some non-severe scared storms by Tuesday. But especially today and Monday, be careful and still some fire danger across the west and some dry thunderstorms possible. So stay safe. The herd does show here some like those storms, southern Canada as well, a few storms, but especially like this afternoon, those severe storms, northern Iowa into Minnesota, some strong severe ones in the mid-Atlantic, a few scared ones across Maryland and Pennsylvania, a few areas, and those ones in Montana, some scared storms, Wyoming too. So stay safe in those areas, and still a lot of Cape, a few spots in the plains, Midwest. And yeah, so be aware for like Monday, where is it? So we don't have the full coverage for Monday yet, but already shows a few storms in the plains and like in the Midwest. But this might grow later in the evening to that area of the marginal risk. So stay safe, be aware those areas still shows like a few spots in Canada, so the rain accumulation show like until the 22nd, still some rain in central Canada and like into Ontario, most of Manitoba, spots in Atlantic Canada, some rain as well. But it does show in Alaska, some precipitation, especially northern and southwest, southeastern areas. So be aware. And some of these might come as some stronger storms. So they'll show those storms from the US Monday evening on the European, not even like still Monday during the day, and into Tuesday shows like a storm or two southern Ontario on the European, but this changes all the time. And then shows Tuesday few storms in British Columbia, those afternoon type storms. And the European is showing some storms Monday evening, strong strong ones in Manitoba, some hail possibly, and some damaging winds into next week, as that trough lingers around central Canada until next week. And so we are watching that as well. And like stay safe. Still show some colder temperatures northern Canada into Alaska, but like Monday shows in the afternoon southern Canada, the prairies does warm up a lot, and then Tuesday, like there's that belt of some colder temperatures in Alaska, close to some 20s Fahrenheit, a few areas. So be aware. And then Tuesday show like this does warm up a lot, southern Saskatchewan. So even be careful. I would consider this a moderate to major heat risk in a few areas. So be aware. Saskatchewan into Manitoba Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday that does get better, but still pretty warm. A few spots there. So be aware. And yeah, for like snow, just being curious, does show like this belt in southern northern Alaska, some 4 inches of snow next 5 days, even 6 inches a few areas in the Rockies, in Alaska and to Canada, especially in British Columbia, to like 3 centimeters or more, northern Quebec as well, and like in the Arctic there. So beware, especially in northern Alaska. And here does show like for the heat in the US, still in the southwest is pretty toasty, some 100, some 104, but even like Arkansas, Missouri, some 90s, close to 100. Tonight to tomorrow morning, there's a mysterious gap there, but shows some 70s, still during the night, central southern areas, and like some 80s in the southwest, so still be careful, some hot temperatures during the night. And then like the shows some like 106 to 107 the southwest tomorrow, some like 102 in Arkansas into Mississippi. So be careful that heat in the south, especially because the south is humid. Unlike the southwest, the humidity does make the heat indices climb. So stay safe. Even to like still some hundreds carry the mid south into Midwest by Tuesday. So be careful. 108 in the southwest. And then day three still shows some 89 in Arizona during the night, and some 70s in the south during the night. And for Wednesday afternoon, even to 100 in Montana, starts climbing some 90s there, 110 in Arizona, those are still 100 in Mississippi. So stay safe Wednesday, Thursday, 91 in Arizona during the night. Like, please have some extra air conditioning. And then does show 100s in the California valleys by Thursday, 114 in Arizona again. So the latter portions next week might be very hot. Still some 90s in the south into the plains. So stay safe in those areas. Be careful. Still some excessive rainfall, slight risk today. Spots in the Midwest and into the plains. The marginal goes all the way from Idaho to Maine in the southeast and the southwest. Day two still a slight in Wisconsin, Illinois, and to Iowa. Day three, like still marginal in the southwest, a couple of isolated monsoon storms and spots in the Midwest. Day four, still a marginal, and day five, closer to the south this time. So stay safe, be careful. And here does show the experimental heat risk today, Sunday. Still some major heat risk in those areas that I showed you, more than 100 degrees. Monday, still central southern Midwest into the mid-south, some extreme heat risk. Later climbs there in Montana into the southwest. And later by Thursday, some extreme heat risk in Arizona again and climbing. So be aware those areas and please stay safe.